Wrestling fans, thanks for clicking the dreaded D-Rose report. Knock the camera around. Hey, got a lot of news here. Let's get going. Michael Cole did an interview with Triple H. Triple H said Rollins created and destroyed the Shield. And Triple H, was around the Shield a lot and said Rollins didn't crack. He's not worried about how Rollins is going to do in the cell. He said Rollins, if the future is the future, if he's the future of WWE, cinder blocks may be only the beginning for Ambrose. And Triple H is bringing Hell in the Cell structure to Monday's Raw. It's going to be hanging above the ring. I would say probably it's going to come down at the last match and capture somebody in the ring where they can't get away. And Michael Cole mentioned about how Triple H and Undertaker have been in the most Hell in a Cell matches, how Triple H was the better winning percentage there. And Triple H said, of course he remembers and knows it. In last night's episode of TNA Impact, it had Madison Reigns taking on Havoc for the knockout title, and a surprise from Ethan Carter III. We'll find out about that here in a while. Matt Hardy, Sonata, and Tajiri have been announced for Wrestle 1's 30th anniversary show for the Great Muta on November 1st. That show also sees Bromans face Kaz, and I guess there's some six-man action going on. There were some financial production frustrations going on at last Sunday's TNA Bound for Glory pay-per-view in regards to some of the aspects of the show. Wrestle 1 was originally going to handle, according to PWI Insider, and apparently Wrestle 1 was going to handle some of the issues, but changed their mind after the show was announced and planning was underway. So I don't know if that was all in the plans or not. R-Truth was recently working with recording artist Alexander King, who appears on I don't know if you watch A&E's Big Schmo reality show, and the new WWE 2K15 soundtrack. Truth had been announced that he's going to be working on his own hip-hop project for some time now. I wish him luck on that. Anyway, it's been noted also recently, WWE Live Event reports that NXT champion Adrian Neville has been receiving bigger pops from the main roster. I just had a fly run by. From the main event roster crowds. And anyway, WWE officials have also been taking notice of that, and Neville has received some praise backstage. Honky Tonk Man released the following statement on his inclusion in the WWE 2K15 video game. He says, HDM was one of the first WWE video game, one of the first video games was WrestleMania, back on the NES, back in 1989. And now, here I am, 2014, and it's been an incredible part of my, generation, myself, on each generation since then, thrilled and exciting, so on and so on, let the fans shake, rattle, and roll, whatever. Hey, dark main event after last night's WWE SmackDown taping saw Wyatt family, Kane, and Seth Rollins surround Dean Ambrose in the ring for before attacking him. Sheamus, Ziggler, and Usos made the save. Babyfaces hit the finishers, and Ambrose hit the dirty deeds on Rollins. They end the show, sent everybody home happy and glad they spent all that money. And Cody Hall, Scott Hall's son, has been added to the WrestleCade event, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, next month. RVD is going to be performing at the John Lovitz Comedy Club on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Universal City, California. I hope he's funny. I have no idea. Jim Ross tweeted following about comments between JBL and Jerry Lawler on last week's Raw. Well, this past Monday's Raw, about the Steve Austin Bobcat podcast. He said, yes, I heard the inside talk when Steve Austin's Broken Skull Ranch podcast was being promoted on Raw. He said, I got the inside joke. Take snowballs. Classy, he says. WWE applied for, I don't know why, a trademark for XFL back in September 2012 and were given notice of publication just last month, meaning the party could oppose, any party could oppose the registration of the trademark. NFL has requested to file an extension to the filing of the opposition of the trademark. According to PWI Insider, NFL has until November 15th to file an opposition or asked for another extension. Why anybody wants that, I don't know. Unless they're going to put it on the network, which would be all right. Former WWE star Joey Abs, I think yesterday, turned about 43 years old. Paige is responding to CM Punk chants at WWE live events during the match with AJ. This past weekend, fans were chanting for Punk while Paige had AJ down in the ring. Paige yelled out, "Her name is AJ and she sucks." The foreword to Chris Jericho's new book was written by a fan, believe it or not. Claire Curran from Manchester, England. Curran was chosen from a fan contest that Jericho ran a while back, and the winner of the contest, it was kept secret until the book came out. We didn't know who it was, so I don't know what she wrote on there. But Justin Roberts was indeed informed of his WWE release after Monday's Raw in Atlanta. He was informed by Superior Kevin Dunn. There was a feeling now that Lillian Garcia is probably going to be moved up to Raw, and Eden may do ring announcing for SmackDown. Byron Saxton's name, he was also mentioned, but he may be doing some ring, announcing if one or the other can't make it. And speaking of Roberts, there was talk amongst fans that on Raw on social media Monday night that Roberts was seen yelling at Michael Cole during the Dolph Ziggler-Randy Orton match. A fan noted that Roberts also flipped off Cole. Noted that WWE chose not to renew his contract, and that's why he was let go. Wasn't because of the flipping him off. Not really. Come here, and Max wants up here. Come on. Come on, everybody wants. Come on, people see you. He's got his sweater on. I don't put, my wife does. Well, I ain't going to stop talking until this is done. Now get down. Get down here. All right, updated card for Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell is going to be John Cena taking on Randy Orton. Hell in a Cell is going to be Dean Ambrose taking on Seth Rollins. U.S. Title is Miz taking on Sheamus. Nikki Bella taking on Brie Bella. Loser must be assisted to the winner, be an assistant to the winner for 30 days. Big Show taking on Rusev. And I'll be done here in a minute. You swing at me. As noted, there's a documentary on WWE new Randy Savage, Macho Man DVD coming out, looks like November 18th. Savage's brother Lanny Poffo recently spoke to another wrestling podcast and talked about the documentary, and here's a little bit of the highlights. They was asking him that WWE put out a DVD documentary about your brother. Tell us about the project. Lanny says, my mother didn't want to be in it, and I talked her into it. She was phenomenal. She's going to be 88 years old in January, and so I didn't want her, to get negative. She's still harboring resentment that nobody offered her condolences from WWE. And he said, I said, Mom, look at it this way. It's not about, Macho Man. It's about Macho fans. And they're the ones that gave him, the lifestyle that he had. And they were the ones that gave him just, everything. And made him go to the top of the mountain. And, he lived there for many, many years and had a great life. It's all because of Macho fan. Then he was also asked, how about your involvement in the DVD? Poffo said, about a month ago, I texted producer Kieran Bent and said, how are you going to do the project? Can I, get an advance copy of it, or do I have to wait until November 18th? So he says, we got a rough cut, I'll send it to you. And, they were asking me all these questions and treated it kind of like a shoot interview. And I had no idea that they were going to use that kind of stuff, but they used all of it. All right, they used some controversial things that, get up there, and were a few things that I didn't like. He said there were a few things I thought were phenomenal. I said that before, phenomenal. Anyway, yeah. But all in all, it is a must-have. So that's telling me he's going to get 1% off of it. The two people I called up on the phone to thank were Brad Hart and Diamond Dallas Page, because their remarks are beautiful. And you know who was great? I don't know where they found it. I've never seen it before, but they had highlights of an interview that they did with Randy before. That they did it with him in 1993 or 94, where he was at the fork of the road of his career, and it was like he was narrating his own DVD at the time. Should be a good DVD. Anyway, the image of Sting on the new WWE DVD cover is not bodybuilder body with Sting's head on it. It's actually a WCW photo of Sting almost 20 years ago. Just clear that up. And 2014 WWE Slammy Awards, you fans that love the Slammy Awards, are no longer planned for December 29th, Raw in Washington, D.C., because there's a live event in Richmond, Virginia, that same night, and a lot of the roster won't be there. Also, about done, hang on. Also, before the WWE officials were very careful about not portraying John Cena versus Randy Orton in Hell in a Cell as the losers match, announcers on Raw said never say loser of John Cena and Dean Ambrose, who would face Orton. Orton also kept referring to his match as the main event. Don't say it's a loser. You know, he's got to wrestle the loser. Anyway, it's possible that Rollins versus Ambrose goes on at last at Hell in a Cell. Both matches will likely be promoted equally. And regarding Cena taking on Orton, this is going to be the 9th time that the two have faced in a singles match on a WWE pay-per-view. Each man won 3 matches clean, and each one I guess each via disqualification. Orton won the previous Hell in a Cell match in 2009. So if you want to see that match ahead of time, go back to 2009 and watch it there. Now, all right, former WWE star Brodus Clay made his TNA debut last night on Impact Wrestling. He's working under the name of Tyrus and has sided with Ethan Carter III. Tyrus defeated Shark Boy last night, as well he should have. And he's getting antsy over here. Anyway, happy birthday to former CZW Junior Heavyweight Champion Derek Frazier, 34 years old, and Chikara regular Jimmy Equinox Olsen, 28 years old, and one-time ECW World Champion Justin Incredible, 41 years old, and WSU Hall of Famer Missy Wyatt, 52 years old. Also, this would have been the birthday of former WCW television champion Rick Renegade Wilson, if you remember him. And I do believe that, I thought I had it on here somewhere, that, oh, there it is. 2003, fellow WWE Hall of Famer and legendary trainer Stu Hart died at the age of 88 years old. Thanks for clicking, you guys. We gotta go.